The final piece of advice I have about doing NaNoWriMo is to make sure that you go into it with the right mindset. NaNoWriMo is so much fun because so many people are doing it all over the world, and you can really feel that collective energy. If you tap into any writers groups, or you know any writers, or you are online and connected to any writers, you're probably going to run into somebody else who's doing it. And it's fun to say, how are you doing? Did you meet your goal? Did you hit your count? Did you making it happen? It's energizing and it's motivating. And even if you don't know any writers, just knowing that it's happening is great. And NaNoWriMo has amazing tools and resources set up to show you your progress and to help you track it. And that's fun too. And, it's great to have an excuse to give the people you live with. Like, I can't, make dinner. I can't clean. I can't do my duties this whole month because I'm doing this thing. I'm committing to this thing. All of that is just excellent and fun. And as I said, inspiring and motivating. But be very careful about the pressure that you put on yourself to win, to hit that daily count or that 55,000 word count at the end, because it's an artificial measure and you have to remember that. It's an arbitrary thing that the creators of NaNoWriMo, who are my friends, some of them, made, which is an incredibly energizing and exciting thing, but it's totally arbitrary. Like, why does it have to be 55,000 words? Well, I mean, that's the minimum viable number of words for a novel or memoir, but why does it have to be 30 days? It could have been anything. Could have been 45 days, 90 days, whatever. The thing of it is, as I talked about in the last video about NaNoWriMo, the constraint. That's what makes it interesting, is can you do this number of words in this period of time? But just remember that it is arbitrary. And if you don't make it, if you don't win, if you don't hit that count, it doesn't mean that you've done a bad job or that you're a bad writer or that you somehow are not cut out for this. It might mean that November was just a really hard month for you, or it's actually hard for you to carve out that much time in a day or a week to do this work, and you have to operate at a slower pace. Or something happened with your story that made you, take a detour. All of those things are part of the creative process, and all of those things are fine. They don't mean anything. It's not a referendum on you as a writer. And that mindset of, I'm going to jump into this, I'm going to do it, I'm going to try, but I'm not trying to win, or I'm not making winning be the measure of my accomplishment. I just think it's really important to hold that in your head and keep that in mind. The writer's ego is very fragile. We want to believe that we can do this work. It's really hard to do this work. We sometimes forget that. We read a book and we think, well, that looks easy to do, or we see other people doing it who seem like it's easy for them, but it's not easy for anybody. And it's hard in general, and it's also hard just within the context of a life to actually find the time to make this happen. So be gentle with yourself and forgiving of yourself. There's actually a really great video, TED Talk, that Elizabeth Gilbert does on the idea of self-forgiveness for writers. And I think that's a lovely thing to watch before you start NaNoWriMo, to be gentle with yourself and not beat yourself up and give yourself impossible goals to reach. We can only control what we can control. And when it comes to writing, that is how you do it. So the habits that you have around it, and where you do it, where you sit, and what your environment is like while you're writing. How you approach your idea is something that you can control, which is why I recommend the blueprint method that is in my book, Blueprint for a Book, Build Your Novel from the Inside Out. I recommend that because it's part of the thing you can control as a writer. You can control your motivation and the energy that you bring to it. But what we can't control is how the story is going to go, how that creative process is going to go, how long it's going to take us to produce this thing. We can't control what's going to happen in the marketplace when we finally finish this. what people are going to make of it or what they're going to say or how much money it's going to make. So we control what we can control. And that's the powerful thing that you can bring into NaNoWriMo as well, is knowing where your power lies and having the right mindset. And if you do decide to do it, I hope it's a great fun and I wish you the best of luck.